and has been stalking me at my workplace for over a year now. I've filed to police reports and call the cops every time he shows up, but he always manages to leave before they arrive. It's been so frustrating and exhausting. I don't know him, and I've repeatedly told him to leave me alone, but
On October 14th, Abigail Saldana posted a video of a tracker that she found underneath her car, and 2 weeks later, she was murdered by her alleged stalker. 22-year-old Abigail Saldana was a young mom, a brow artist, and a dancer working at Rick's Cabaret in Fort Worth, Texas. On October 26th, Stanley Zeliga, a 54-year-old veteran, reportedly shot and killed Abigail while driving on the highway. 3 days before this tragic event, Stanley posted their private messages online, along with screenshots of money he reportedly sent to her. Abigail allegedly refused to provide her services unless Stanley agreed to her rate. Cabaret manager showed Abigail's post about the tracking device to investigators, saying that before Abigail's death she had expressed concern about someone named Stan, and that she was frightened due to stalking and harassment. CCTV footage from a traffic camera showed Stanley's truck with his license plate passing her apartment several times before she was murdered. On October 27th, the SWAT team forced their way into his home to arrest him.
So I was talking to a friend of mine, right? And, she's a female. And I was asking her, why are so many women walking around here stone-faced? Why are so many women walking around here rude? They can't smile, they can't laugh, they want to out men, right? Outman man. Like, why are so many women walking around like this? Why are so many women, acting so, not feminine, right? Why are they acting so masculine, in the way that they walk, in the way that they look, if they even do look a man's way? Why are so many women, walking around like this? And this is what she told me. This is what she told me, and this is probably one out of many reasons, but this is the argument, right? This is what she argued. She said, women are scared of men. Mm-hmm. Women are scared of men, and women, for the most part, want nothing to do with men. I thought, and to me, that's kind of crazy. And I'm not saying that she doesn't have good points, right? She made some great points. Because if you log on to social media, right? Let's start there. If you log on social media and you see, the amount of videos where guys they want to fight females, or they start talking about a chick when she doesn't give them her number, or when they get shot down, they turn into, a super simp, or just unmanly, right? I've seen many of those videos, right? So she does have a great point, and the point that she was making is that there's a lot of guys out here who are weirdos, right? There's a lot of guys out here who are weirdos. There are a lot of guys out here, they don't know how to handle rejection, right? And since they don't know how to handle rejection, a lot of women out here get beat. A lot of women out here get, skinny popped. A lot of women out here, face, aggression from a lot of men. And you know what? I kind of agree with her. I kind of agree. And the reason why I agree with her, because I think about what I have to deal with the majority of men that I interact with. You guys know I've told you I told you story after story, time after time, how so many men out here are passive aggressive. So many men out here are overly emotional. So many men are out here unregulated testosterone, unregulated emotions, and they don't know how to handle transgressions. They don't, their masculinity, or, properly, exude that masculinity, right? They don't know how to handle any of this stuff. So when I was thinking on it, I was like, maybe you are making a great point, right? So women won't look most men's way. And this is the 90-10 rule, basically. This is the 90-10 rule. Most women won't look men's way. Most women refuse to interact, right? Most women will give most men a fake number, right? They may slide you the Instagram or the Snapchat, all just so you can follow them, so they can build up a following, and not even hit you up, not even care who you are. Like, you're a nobody to most of them, right? So it makes sense, unless, like, you're that top 10%. We already know what happens in a workplace when you're that guy. We already know when you approach a woman and you're that guy. We already know, right? So of course, if you meet the sexual qualifications of that said woman, then yeah, cold approach may work for you, right? Or if you meet the sexual compatibility of that woman, then yeah, the workplace may work for you, even though I don't recommend it, from any man, right? But you got to think, and she was also like, uh, most women, right? This is from her perspective. I'm not saying that this is how the majority of women think. I'm not saying that this is the standard or anything. I'm just, giving a woman's perspective on why they carry themselves as such. And she said, basically that there's a lot of, guys out here who are willing to SA women. You got a lot of guys out here, who may be, serial rapists, right? Serial criminals and all of this stuff. She's basically telling me that a woman's mind is hyperactive, right? A woman's mind is hyperactive. So, they have to think about these things, right? Now that I think about it, they have to think about these things because they half of the man, right? They can't really, defend themselves, against, basically the average man, right? Let alone a strong big man. They can't. Most women, 99% of women can't defend themselves against a man who really tried, right? They can't. So she's saying that their minds are basically hyperactive on all of these things, right? And I was just, I thought about these things and I was just blown away. And this makes the 90-10 rule even more active. This makes the 90-10 rule even more realistic, right? Because you got to think, if you are average looking, right? Let's talk about the looks. Let's talk about the job occupations. Let's talk about all of that, right? If you are lesser than average or even average, right? Most women would I'm gonna say how it is, guys. Most women will probably consider you a weirdo. That's just how it is. If you are average to below average looks, most women will consider you a weirdo, right? You automatically get the weirdo effect. Automatically, off the bat. You don't have to try. You can be the nicest guy. You can be the most gentleman guy, right? You can be the sweetest guy ever, right? Treat a woman how she's supposed to be treated. Know how to talk to a woman. Your emotions are regulated. You don't get upset about rejection or any of that, right? You could be all of those things. You are automatically put in the weirdo section, right? Just because you look like what what most women will probably consider a weirdo, right? You look like a weirdo, and this is not me saying it. This is from the female perspective, right? If you're not good looking, if you're not in shape, if you don't look like you have something going on, you look. And the crazy thing about it is, a guy who pull up in a Benz or a Beamer, he could be a weirdo, right? It's possible that he can be a weirdo. A guy who is in shape or, confident and, he's making money, he looks good and all that. That guy he could be, everything that woman is feared. And it's crazy because, when you talk about these celebrities, when you talk about these guys with money and things of that nature, not saying that this is the norm, or not saying that this is more, or they're more capable of committing, certain acts. But when you think about these celebrities, right? When you think about these celebrities, when you think about these guys with money being caught up in scandals, no Diddy, right? When you talk about what was the name of those two brothers down there in Miami? I forgot their name, but two real estate brothers down there in Florida, and they got caught up. Women came out and saying they were doing all kinds of stuff, right? We could go on and on. Athletes, entertainers, right? CEOs. Remember the NASA engineer who just got off on those SA charges, right? He was just running through those women, right? He wasn't trying to marry him, and I guess they wanted to seek revenge and wanted to claim SA and all that. Listen, these guys got money, these guys got status, right? And when it's all said and done, they're the ones who end up with the SA charges, with the all kinds of, what I'm saying? They're the ones who end up in the jail cells. R. Kelly, right? They're the ones who end up in the jail cell, but the women are the ones who threw themselves at them. Go figure. Go figure. When you talk about these guys who have money, status, and the looks, right? Not saying all, I'm just, making a theory, right? When it comes to these guys, women throw themselves at those guys, right? Women throw themselves with no questions asked. Women throw themselves at those guys. But for some odd reason, how come those guys are the ones, who end up getting, jammed up, right? But it makes sense, because if more than likely, if these guys are the ones who are running through all the women, right? If these guys are the one who's getting all the booty, right? Those guys are the ones who getting all the punani. Those guys are the ones who getting all the got 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, right? You just getting the got 100, right? You're not getting that got 3,000, 5,000, and 10,000. You're not getting that kind of got. You're getting the pity got, right? You're not getting that good got, right? Pause, right? They're getting that got, right? So you got to think, they're running through all these women. More than likely, if you're running through so many women, if all the women are throwing themselves at you, if the 90-10 rule is truly in effect, then guess what? More than likely, you will get caught up. More than likely, somewhere along that journey, you may get jammed up. That's just how it works. See, the average to below average men, they don't go through enough women to get jammed up. Correct me if I'm wrong. They don't go through enough women. They don't talk to enough women, right? They don't interact with enough women to get jammed up. Now, you do have your weirdos out there. Like I said, you do have your weirdos who are absolutely, strung out, and, they going through a drought, right? Those guys that say, oh, I'm not paying for nothing. Watch those guys. Yeah. Watch those guys. Watch those guys who say, yeah, I'm not paying for nothing. Yeah, you need to watch those guys. But you guys who are like, yeah, I'm not paying for nothing. I'm not paying for nothing. Yeah, watch those guys. yeah. Watch those guys, because those are guys, when they go through a dry spell, telling what they'll do, right? Telling what they'll do. But yeah, I thought her argument, it was interesting. It was interesting. And this is why I tell you guys, like, cold approach for what? Cold approach for what? If you're really honest with yourself, right? If you're not above average in looks, right? Or at least average with a above average body. If you're not one or two of those, bro, just cut it. Cut it. Listen, I said I'm gonna tell the truth, the whole truth, so help us God, right? This is the after pill, baby. If you are below average in looks, and especially below average in body, right? There's no reason why you should be cold approaching women, unless you're pulling up in that pull up. But even still, then most women probably look at you like, ew, right? But most women probably look at you like, maybe I can use him for some money, which that's no problem, because most women use men in the first place, right? But if you're below average to average, then it makes no sense for you to cold approach women, right? Do not approach women at the gas station. Look, I'm just telling y'all, most women are paranoid. Unless y'all are in some kind of gathering where it makes sense to cold approach women, right? If you're like I guess at a party, right? That makes more sense. You're at a social gathering. That makes more sense. But a lot of guys, they want to approach women, I guess maybe the mall. I don't know. But like I said, I don't believe in cold approaching. But maybe the mall, but most 9 times out of 10, women are not going to the mall to talk to guys anymore. They are not. They're not going to socialize. They're going to shop, show off their fit, and if the highest bidder is in there, if a baller is in there, then yeah, that's who they're choosing. That's who they're going home with. That's who they're he home. I mean, he's in town for a vacation, and he looks like a big spender. He looks like a player. He looks like that guy. Then yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it happen in the mall. I've seen it happen in the mall. There's a lot of in the and if you've ever been through the mall during the day and even on the weekends, right? There's a lot of escorts in the mall. There's a lot of sugar babies walking through the mall. They're peeping out and seeing who's in there and seeing who the ballers are, seeing who the spenders are. Besides that, most chicks are not in there to interact with you. They more than likely are with another chick. They're going in there to eat. They're going in there to do a little shopping, right? They're going in there to do a little, pre-game fun before they really get with who they're going out with that night. Listen, most of the chicks, they already have plans already. They already have plans. They already have plans. This is what y'all cold approach guys need to understand, right? When you're approaching chicks, when they're at these, at the mall, at the gas station, just out of the blue, one, they're already paranoid because, like I said, if you're not above average in looks and you're not pulling up in something nice, right? 9 times out of 10, they're not going to be receptive to anything that you got to say, right? And of course, we see the little videos with the meta glasses and guys, pulling numbers and all of that stuff. Listen, I need to see the receipts. I need to see the receipts. Most of those chicks that most of the time it's probably fake. It's probably a skit. And then even if they are, right? Even if they are, some of them are probably already recognizable. So they probably already know what guy that is. So status already. And then another thing, some of those guys are very tall from my perspective, what I've seen, some of the videos that I've seen. So he already meeting the height category. Listen, everything is not what it seems. So you got guys, they're using these meta glasses and they're approaching chicks and all that stuff. Listen, I can do that. Maybe I should start doing that on camera. Maybe I should hire some people, right? Film some content for these normie minds, right? This is entertainment, right? Maybe I should do it. But most of the time, these chicks already have plans. They already have the guys that they're going out with. Listen, it's just in 2025 in a social media era, it doesn't make sense for guys to cold approach, especially average to below average guys. If you don't have above average in money, it doesn't make sense to cold approach. And even still, these guys who really having money, these guys who are successful, these guys who, have things going on and, their pockets are full though. 4 pockets full, right? 4 PF, right? These guys are not about to waste their time cold approaching some chick that they seen at the gas station. They're just not. And at some point in time, it's just going to come, it has to come some point of maturity in a man's life, right? You have to understand, like, okay, yeah, she looks good, but what are actually my chances of approaching a chick who is single, right? Single and available because, right, she could be single, but she's not available. Or she's sizing you up and down, right? You pull up in a Nissan, bro. She looking at you like you're not gonna change anything about my life. It doesn't look like you can pay any of these bills. It doesn't look like you can do this. It doesn't look like you can do that. I'm not about to deal with you. I don't know you. Listen, they need the social proof up front. That's why so many chicks get flown out. That's why so many chicks, they want to give your Instagram. Chicks is just not saying, give me your Instagram and your Snapchat for no reason. Or just take my Instagram and my Snapchat for no reason, right? First of all, they don't want some weirdo some weirdo guy, some average to below average looking guy to have their number, or somebody they don't view as sexual compatible with. They're not giving you their number. Or if they do give you their number, they're not going to text back. They're not going to respond. You're just going to have their number, or just give you a fake number, right? How many numbers have y'all gotten? How many numbers have I gotten? And, you know, as sexy as I am, I'm sexy and I know it. Dun, 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 dun. As sexy as I am, I've had no return backs, right? I've had ghosts, right? I've had women go ghost on me. It happens. It happens to the best looking guys. It happens to guys who have status. Women go ghost no matter what part of the spectrum you're on, right? But for you guys who are below average, you have a harder time. You have to accept where you are in life. But for these guys who have money, they're not approaching these chicks. They can get a much badder chick. They can get a beautiful chick. Yeah, he paying for it, but he get to satisfy all his needs. He get to live out a fantasy. He gets to do a lot of things that he just can't get from a normie chick anyway. Why not go to the trained professional who looks better than all of the chicks that you interact with on a daily basis, that you even see at the mall, that you see at the gas station anyway? Don't it make sense? It only makes sense, but I made this video for you guys who, you know, who still may not get it. Who still you're not really getting it through your head that, hey, cold approaching doesn't work. Why it doesn't work? For a variety of different reasons, but let's just what we just talked about. Most chicks are scared of men. Most chicks are scared of men. They don't know you. They're on social media all day. So even if it doesn't happen in a majority rate, right? They're scared. They see all these videos of women getting beat up, women getting stalked. And in actuality, this happens. I've known people personally, chicks personally, who've told me stories and some things that I've witnessed myself, some horrendous stories, right? So women do get stalked. Women do get ran down on. Women do get kidnapped. People do follow chicks home, right? Especially if a chick is on social media, right? Especially if she's, you know, somewhat, you know, big on social media, somewhat has a following on social media. Yeah. Some guys go out of their way to do weirdo stuff. So you got to realize, guys, women, for the most part, especially nowadays, they see, especially if they all that, they see men in a different light. They see, so all of these super simps and all of these guys, all of these weirdos in their DMs and all of that they got to scroll through just to find that blue check mark, that they got to scroll through just to find that wide receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? They got to scroll through rapper, right? They got to scroll through soccer player. They got all these weirdos just to get to the guys that they do want. Most of the guys in their DMs are weirdos. Most of the guys in their DMs are super simps. Most of the guys who are hitting them up are insane, right? So they see men in such a negative light. They see all of these weirdos who are in their DMs, and that's what they absorb. That's what they take in. That's what they judge men based on, even though that may not be the majority. It's definitely getting closer and closer, because OnlyFans is taking off. A lot of men are paying for that. I already showed y'all the invention of AI chat girls, chat boxes. That's going to soon develop into even more, right? We already seeing the SEX dolls and SEX toys, and soon enough there's going to be the SEX androids and humanoids and all of that stuff. Listen, it's already happening. It's already happening. They're just adjusting to the times. So a lot of these men that they see, they witness the negative side. They witness the potentially that this guy could probably SA me, right? They witness that, dang, they're showing me like D-pics and all kinds of stuff, saying they want to do this and that to me. They don't even know me and all that stuff, right? Listen, I'm just telling you how it is. And you got to think about the outside world when chicks are at clubs and parties and stuff, like they're getting grabbed on, groped, and all. Listen, I'm just telling it how it is. I'm just relaying the information. The after pill is the after pill, right? It's the whole truth, the complete truth. So help us God. But you got women getting groped and all that stuff. So you got to for a man, you have to understand where you are. You have to understand where you are. Like I don't even, and truth be told, like I don't even when I'm walking, let's say I'm walking on the sidewalk or something, and I'm walking by myself, right? You're safer when you're walking with someone, right? You're safer when you're walking with someone, as in, or you look safer when you're walking with someone. Like if I'm walking with my chick, or if I'm walking with, a friend or something like that, or my daughter or something like that, you look more, I guess, friendly. But let me walk, you know, don't. Let me walk like this on a sidewalk, and it's getting dark outside. I'm walking behind the girl. Yeah, chicks gonna clutch their pearls, especially my big black ass. Yep, they're gonna clutch their pearls. They're gonna, please don't, Mister Handsome Black Man. Don't do it to me, Mister Handsome. Right? So you got to understand that you got to be aware of different things. I remember one time I even approached a chick at the gas station. And, some chicks are reluctant, even though I have the face card. Still they don't know, because truth be told, they've experienced so much. A lot of women out here nowadays, they have experienced so much with dudes, right? Y'all got to realize a lot of these chicks, they've been XEX workers. They've been OnlyFans girls. They've been bartenders. They've been star tenders. They've been bottle girls. They've been strippers. They've been sugar babies. They've been across the spectrum, and they've seen so much. They've seen so much from women. I mean, from men. They've been in abusive relationships and all of this stuff. So you got to realize these chicks have seen a lot. These chicks have been through a lot, right? And I'm not saying that you got to understand. Use this information as you will, right? I'm just relaying to you, like whoever watching this, that this is just the case. Most women are terrified of men for whatever the reason is, but for the most part, it's because they've dealt so much with so many men nowadays. The average woman nowadays has had probably 4 or 5 plus partners already, right? Especially by the time they turn 25, they're already ran through and traumatized. Right? So you got to realize that they've been through it. They've been through it all by the time they're 30, for sure. Right? They've been through it all by the time they're 30. So a lot of women now are just, they're scared of men, and I don't want to say rightfully so, but it is rightfully so, because based on their experiences. But dig this though, if they weren't out there in the streets, if they weren't out there giving away their bodies willy-nilly, if they weren't out there selling their bodies, if they weren't out there selling their souls, if they weren't out there doing this, then maybe they would have a different light of men. Maybe they would have a different experience with men, but because they don't, because they haven't, right? Because they are out there selling everything, then they witness a lot of negative. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. And this is really an after pill. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.